Oh my goodness, and Tim Onlu goes over a tenth of a second fast.
Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome to the 11th round of the Formula Trout Premier Series, and today we head to a track that quietly produces some of the most exciting races for the world to witness. It's the Hungaroring for the DAC Hungarian Grand Prix, and it is bound to be exciting today, as in the Challenger Split, which we, as always, have coming up first. The Drivers' Championship looks set to be decided, and after the chaos at Suzuka, the lead in the Constructors' standings is held by just 2 points as we head into the penultimate round of the championship. Furthermore, as like the entirety of Europe at the moment, virtual Hungary is blisteringly hot, with the track temperature at 31 degrees Celsius, which by Assetto Corsa standards is quite high, meaning preserving tyres at a track where degradation is traditionally bad already is going to become even more crucial with strategy, possibly deciding the race. My name's Ross McIntyre, alongside me and on the cams as well as Alex Cochrane. Hello Alex, and how are you doing?
Hello, yeah, not bad, glad to be here. Exciting race, hopefully coming up. Obviously the fight for the championship's still alive, so it'll be really exciting to see what happens.
Well, it will be exciting indeed, and well, you say it's still alive, but right now, Agnes Rositis is very much in the driving seat. The man who has a 38-point lead in the championship. If his main rival, Giovanni Amorim, wins this race, Rositis needs to finish 4th. The championship is his. If Giovanni Amorim does not win this race, the championship is his. And here he is on the screen now. It is all advantage to Mr. Rositis. And as well, here in the Constructors' Championship as well, after obviously what happened last time out at Suzuka, just absolute chaos. Bag Motorsport went in with a chance to walk away. It was a slim chance, but it was still a chance to walk away with the Constructors. And they came in, and Rositis, came out the best as after Giovanni Moore had to retire after beaching his car in a very bizarre incident. And then Bruno Moore had a few spins and had a really rough time as well. So now the gap between them and TC Esports only 2 points. And actually, TC Esports were planning to draft in a second driver for today. Simon Benoit was planning to come down from the master split and give some backup to Rositis to help him try and, maybe put a stake in that Constructors' Championship fight. Benoit didn't actually put in enough laps to qualify for this race. So Rositis is once again on his own, and we don't know whether Benoit will be entering the next race. We don't know whether Rositis will be entering the next race, because I've heard rumours that he may actually not be able to make it. So we simply don't know what's going on with the Constructors. So we're not good. So it may be that it's settled here, but we won't be celebrating that because we simply don't know what's going on in the next race. It may come out in 2 weeks' time. It has been settled here, but right now, as of today, it will not be settled. There is Adam Winwood in the Bag Motorsports car, flying around, and they appear to have 3 cars out on track, I think. That's a bit bizarre, because I've got both the Amorums and Adam Woodward, so they're going all out with 3 cars, I think. That's a bit bizarre. Hopefully not. More on the Constructors' Championship. Line is racing currently P3 with 127 points. Dim Bob are in P4 with 108. And Concord back again, gaining with 89 in 5th place. However, Lioneers, one-man team today as well. Jamie Elston went to watch the England game, which I don't know why you'd watch, because first of all, it starts at 8 o'clock, and you'll only miss the first 10 minutes of it if you're doing the Challenger split, and B, it's English football, and we are probably bound to lose, or if we win, the internet is beginning to become insufferably bad. And as well, Jack Coben also didn't make enough laps, and he also didn't make the 107% rule. Obviously, to qualify, not only do you need to put in the required laps to qualify for this race, you also have to make sure your lap times are within 107% of the fastest time, or you are not allowed to make it. And Jack Coben wasn't able to do that, so it looks like Case Willems is on his own today. And yeah, a lot of drivers, 6 drivers in total, didn't make the the amount of laps that they had to do for this event today. So that is a fair few at the moment. On board with Giovanni Moore, the man who is desperately chasing down Agnes Rositis in the championship. They've added a few more stickers to their car. You see the one on the head, the most prominent one. Hi, Hungary, I'm Dad. And also their little message for myself on the headrest that says, Ross, you're drunk, go home. Which is very polite of them. I'm not actually drunk tonight, have you know, guys? So you're incorrect on that one. I win, as always. Crossing the line to start this hot lap. Why don't we ride on board for a lap of Hungary down into turn 1? It is downhill, so you need to make sure your brake pass is shifted to the wrist. You don't lock up. Now turn in. Bit of a late apex. You want to straighten up the steering wheel as quickly as you possibly can. And more, I'm not quite doing that. You actually want to take the exit almost in a straight line on turn 3. Big corner. We've seen some great overtakes here in the past. We could be seeing some today. Turn 4 or 3 even, apologies. The next one's turn 4. Turn 4, absolutely fantastic. Flat out, over the crest, is blind, left, downshift to gear, and Amorum is up on Rositis' lap so far. Oh, this first sector at Hungary is so brilliant. Now, this is where it gets a bit tricky and technical. Hard braking into this chicane. Try not to cart the curbs too much, or you could be losing yourself a bit of time. Now, these awkward S's, left, right, now onto this back straight, and then left again, right again. And now into the final section. This is where the kind of updated kind of last sector is after 2002. Obviously, there was some track upgrades in 2002. The last sector and first corners were changed into the penultimate corner. Left and then right again. The pit lane to the inside, but Morum will not be going in there because he's on a hot lap right now. Through the final corner, get down the throttle and straighten up as early as you can. What's the lap time going to be for Giovanni Morum? To 1:16.404. That takes him to the top of the leaderboard by just under a 1/10 of a second from his main championship rival, Agnes Rositis. Case Willems going in third as well, but he's 4/10 off the pace so far. And actually, it looks like the other Amorum isn't here, so it looks like Bruno Amorum isn't showing today. So it's going to be Adam Woodward instead of Bruno Amorum. There is Dmitry Kamashov, currently in 4th place in the Drivers' Championship. He is very, very close to Casey. There's actually 1 point separating them at the moment for third place. 109 to 108 points respectively. There is Mr. Willems, as I speak, going for a bit of a spin on the exit of turn 3. So yeah, it looks like Kamashov has a good chance to leapfrog Mr. Willems in the championship today, but he may not be able to leap him in the constructors just yet. The gap there is a bit bigger in this titanic battle for third place between these drivers and their respective teams as well. And something else to note, looks like Arthur Penn has been signed up by Griffin Gaming Red for the last 2 rounds of the championship. Or Anthony Penn, apologies for the mistake on the name there. He's been signed up by Griffin Gaming Red for the rest of the season. Last 2 rounds, obviously here, and then 2 weeks' time heading to Interlagos, Sao Paulo. A track that is an absolute classic of single-seater racing. And I'm sure we'll be producing some spectacular wheel-to-wheel action for this season's finale. But that's not what's on our minds right now. What's on our minds right now is the Challenger split here at the Hungary. It's the penultimate round of the championship, and what a championship it's been so far. And that is Anthony Penn coming into the pits as well. Here is Ollie Gibson, who's had some strong results since he's been part of the Challenger split. I'm sure we're looking for some more strong results today as well. Still 9 minutes left to go in qualifying, so still plenty of time for those lap times to tumble as the track rubbers in. Again, it is very, very hot there, and actually a lot of drivers running those C3 tyres. I think, or kind of middle ground tyres. Obviously, those are the tyres that kind of go the medium distance and have the medium grip, so to speak. The softer your tyres are, the quicker they are over 1 lap, but the quicker they also run out of grip. The harder your tyres are is the opposite. Those C3s are the ones that are kind of the middle ground. A lot of drivers running C3s are qualifying. Typically, you'll see them running the softer C4 compounds. But it's just the track temp is so hot out there today that the C3s are in order. And we'll just follow Kamashov around as well. And Bernardo Machado actually going onto provisional pole for the time being while I was saying that in the Concord racing car. Now, Alex, obviously you're racing later in the Master Split. What do you think the tyre is going to be like today? Is it all going to be about the tyre life? Is who's going to be able to preserve in the strategy?
Yeah, I think it'll be a really big element of this race. I think there'll be quite a few strategies going on. I'm not sure what kind of tyres people are running at the moment, but I've seen some people try, in Master Split at least, the C4s, the C3s. Yeah, I think they're all quite valid options here. Obviously, it's, you know, Monaco without walls, it's kind of known as, so I think, yeah, we'll see quite a few different strategies. I think C3 to C2, the usual, will probably be the most safe one, but, you know, I think it was it Rositis last race tried out that, you know, long on the C4, so maybe we'll see the same here again.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, we will have to see. As you said, known as Monaco without walls. However, it's a bit different in Assetto Corsa. Obviously, in real life, in modern single-seaters, there's a track that is plagued by dirty air issues, so it's very hard to overtake because, while it's fantastic to hot lap for a racing environment when you're just plagued by dirty air, you cannot catch up and overtake the car in front. However, in Assetto Corsa, as that's Serban Buzduga sliding off the road there at a corner, which I don't recognise. I believe that's turn 4 or 3 or something like that. Yeah, it is turn 3. Obviously, Assetto Corsa, the downforce, the slipstream, the dirty air, it doesn't really come into effect until you're literally right behind the car in front of you. So going around corners following another car is going to be a lot easier in-game than it would be in real life. That also will help the tyres out a little bit. Obviously, dirty air plays havoc on tyres as well. It makes it harder for them to cool off if they're overheating, and it also means you have to, you know, turn in more and use more grip from the tyres in order to make the corners at the same speed, so you end up using more tyre. And the track with degradation is already astronomically high. That's not what you want, but here in Assetto Corsa, we should be seeing a lot closer racing than real life. So that is one of the benefits of visiting here in Sim. Obviously, it's still not exactly the easiest track to overtake, and there are lots of fast corners, not a lot of overtaking zones, unless you are feeling incredibly brave. We are now seeing drivers sliding into the 115s. 115.634 is the current fastest lap time from Penn, and that's Stephen Hepner off the road as well. The ultimate lap record round here, which I'm not expecting these Challenger Split guys to get too close to, was set by Lewis Hamilton in 2020. He was a 113.447 in qualifying. The actual lap record is also set by Lewis Hamilton in the same year in the race. It was 1:16.627. Obviously, the Mercedes W11 was just such a dominant machine in that season of Formula One. I'm not expecting the Challenger split guys to get too close to that lap time, but we could be seeing maybe some of the Master split guys get closer. Obviously, these RSS Formula Hybrid 2020 cars are based off of the 2020 regulations. So, well, there won't be obviously anywhere near the Mercedes are like to drive in real life. They are obviously based off the same set of regulations that the Mercedes was kind of built off of. So there will be obviously inevitable similarities even between them in terms of just the aero and how the tires work, how the engine works, etc., etc. And obviously produced by the wonderful guys over at Racing Studios, who just seem to come out with amazing vehicle after amazing vehicle for Assetto Corsa. And apparently they are now working on stuff for R-Factor 2 as well. That may not be the best career decision in the world, given the current state of R-Factor, but I'll leave my opinions on how that game scene is going for another time. Into the last 4.5 minutes of qualifying now. Just following around Dmitry Kamashov on his journeys through Turn 1. And this is actually a track which... and that's Bernardo Machado off the road in the Concorde racing car as well. Ty Ison, who was a team founder, no longer team owner, but team founder. Another driver who was caught out by the not doing enough laps rule. As Kamashov goes fastest through the first sector. It's a 28-second dead practically. That's very quick through there. And now heading through the chicane, very tricky corner. That could be the site of a bit of an accident on the first lap, with everyone piling in at very high speeds. And also, everyone is very easy to drift wide there as well. I remember on a F1 2011, the DS, you could take that in 5th gear flat out if you got it right and get out 20 seconds on everybody. Because on the first lap, everyone used to crawl around there in 3rd gear and you could just absolutely bomb past. But then again, I did also win the championship in a HRT in my rookie season. So anything was possible on that game, frankly. And Kamashov actually comes into the pits despite setting a new personal best first sector. So he's obviously deciding that he either wasn't happy with that lap or that was an in lap. And he's going to have another go. There's Giovanni Amorim. Currently P2 also running a Hungary Hippo on the side of his car for some reason. That me and Alex have not decoded yet. Unless Alex knows something that I don't. As he heads into the last section.
No, yeah, it's a mystery to me. I'm sure we maybe find out after the race, but yeah, no idea.
Well, maybe if he comes in for an interview. That's Bruno Amorim. So hang on. So we've got both the Amorim brothers. And then Adam Wood as well, which is 3 bad cars. I am beyond confused at this point. I don't know why there's 3 cars. But yeah, okay. Looks like Bag Motorsport have rocked up with 3 cars. I don't know if one of them is maybe racing independently today and just has his livery, because Adam Woodward is the Bag Motorsport reserve driver. I'm just looking at the registration.
Yeah, I'm also not sure about that. I don't think he's eligible for points, so I think it's just a case of he's a solo driver in his reserve skin, I believe. But we'll see.
Oh, that's very weird. Well, he's that's the Japanese Grand Prix. So I'm looking at the wrong race. Well, yeah. Well, they're saying that all 3 drivers are entered, but yeah, maybe he's just not eligible for points. That's what I'm going to assume. Obviously, he is typically the reserve driver, and typically you're only allowed 2 cars per race. Obviously, there's been an exception made here for some reason, but my best assumption is he won't be allowed points if he finishes in them.
One of our viewers just quite helpfully pointed out that the reason there is a hippo on the side of the car is probably because it's Hungary, and it's a Hungary hippo.
That does make sense. Well, they've Bag Motorsport's going all out on the Hungary puns. First, they've got Hi Hungary, I'm Dad on the Halo, and now they've got a Hungary. Oh, I should have noticed that. Thank you for whoever pointed that one out. Almost into the last minute of qualifying, though. Penn goes second with a 1:15.4. We are getting into the low 1:15s now. And now we are into the last minute of qualifying. Rositis sets out on his final lap of the race. There's Imran Sheikh. Oh, sorry, Alex.
I'm not too sure if they'll have enough energy, because they've just done a quick lap. So I don't know how they are on the battery around this track, but they might struggle to set another fast lap, especially with the tyres as well.
Well,
think
let's see what Resistis can do as he comes, and yeah, he's definitely down through there. So maybe you're right. So maybe it will be P3 as it stands for Resistis.
I just saw one of the Amorim brothers come out the pits as well with only a minute left in qualifying, so it doesn't look like he'll be able to set a lap either.
Definitely not. That's very keen from them. And Giovanni Amorim, who's on an out lap, I think he's going to run out of time as well. So all chaos here in Hungary. No idea what's going on. I don't know who's on a lap. Ollie Gibson, this is a driver who is on a lap as he rounds the penultimate corner here and then comes into the pits. And that's Anthony Pettit. This is not really what you do in qualifying, because usually you set your lap as late as possible so you've got the best track possible in terms of track evolution. Everyone's either off the road. Resistis does try again, does not improve, so he will stay third. So that's Kamashov giving up. So Resistis will stay third. Penn's come back into the pits. Willems is on a lap, though, and he's 5.5 seconds off the pace, so he's definitely not on a lap. So it looks like that's going to be it for qualifying. It's going to be Giovanni Amorim on pole position. He's having a little heart-to-heart with Agnes Resistis there for some reason. So it's going to be Giovanni Amorim on pole position. Anthony Penn will be taking P3. Championship leader Agnes Resistis will be in P3. Then it will be Oliver Gibson, Bernardo Machado, Case Willems in P6, Dmitry Kamashov in P7, Buzz Duggar in P8, Bruno Moore in P9, Stephen Hepner P10, Adam Woodward P11, and Imran Sheikh rounding out the field in 12th place. Unfortunately, not too many cars here today after a lot of drivers did not meet the required amount of laps they had to set before they were allowed to enter this qualifying session, or not making the 107% rule either, which is a shame, but I'm sure that's not going to take away from the race. Obviously, this could be the scene of a Drivers' Championship here today. All Agnes Resistis has to do is, if Giovanni Amorim wins this race, he has to finish 4th or above. And then the championship is his. And then if he finishes in the points anyway, then it goes to the next round. If Giovanni Amorim doesn't win, then Resistis is champion. So Amorim will be desperately hoping that Resistis has a dreadful race and finishes outside that top 4. He is on pole position, so that's one part of his plan done. He now just needs to convert that into a win and hope Resistis finishes outside the top 4. I know Resistis is third, and Resistis as well looks like he might be starting on the C4 tyres. Okay, that's aggressive.
Yeah, that's it's definitely possible. I think he can make it work, but it's aggressive, and he's not. He's only P3, so definitely not where he wanted to be on the softer tyre. Stuck behind the other cars.
No, he would want to be on the pole position on that softer tyre. The C3s looked like to be the quicker tyre in qualifying. Resistis was the only one who set a lap on the C4s. Potentially a mistake there on his behalf. Woodward has apparently set a lap on the C2s. Either that's just him whacking his setup on already. So yeah, this could be a very interesting race to behold. 46 laps here at the Hungaroring. The absolute tyre shredder that it is, with the hot track temperature as well as 26 degrees ambient temperature, 31 degrees track temperature, which by Assetto Corsa standards is frankly like putting yourself in an oven. And it's going to be very interesting. 4.3 kilometers around here, or 2.7 miles, 14 turns to negotiate. Now, lots of undulation and bumps, especially in that first sector. You know, downhill, uphill, downhill again a bit. It is going to be a very exciting race indeed. As we just try and find the car on pole with our trusty cameraman. That's not the man on pole. That is the man on pole. It says he's in second. That's a lie. Giovanni Amorim, the Brazilian driver, putting in a very nice lap. And let's see what he can do here today. The Hungaroring has been open since, and been hosting Formula One races since its opening in 1986. Although it's gone through a few layout changes, especially in that final sector. The run down to turn 1 was increased by about 100 meters, and the final sector was completely changed in 2002. So that brings us to the track that we all know and love today. As we just wait for the countdown now, just about a minute to go. Alex, anyone you've got your eye on in this race?
Well, definitely Agnes at the race start. Obviously, on these C4s, he'll get a much better start. And it's quite a long run down to turn 1, surprisingly, even though it's quite a short track. And it's very tight, so if he can get later on the brakes, maybe even sweep around the outside, there's definitely a chance for him to take the lead. But, you know, we'll just see. Anything can happen.
We'll have to see indeed. Not long to go now until we get underway for what could be a championship deciding race. Giovanni Morum, the man second in the championship, on pole position. In order to take this to the final round, he needs to win this race and hope the man starting in P3, Agnes Rositis, comes outside of the top 4. All Rositis needs to do if Giovanni Morum wins is finish 4th or above. Or if he doesn't win, just finish in the points. 6 red lights here at the Hungary. The lights are underway here for round 11 of the Formula Trout Premier Series Challenge Split. Giovanni Morum looks like he got a better phase 2 from the start. He's going to cut across on Penn into first turn. He goes. Oh, it's 4 wide behind them. Oh, and there's an accident. Oh, there's a huge accident. I don't believe it. The 2 championship contenders off the road in turn 1. It's, oh my goodness me. I have no idea what's happened. A Morum round. Where is Rositis P9? Giovanni Morum, I think, is P5. No, is he lost? I have no idea what's gone on there. Huge accident. I think that was... Who was that? I think it was Bernardo Machado just completely missing his braking point. And Giovanni Morum is at the back of the field. This is the worst possible start for the Brazilian. Not only does this basically hand the championship advantage to Rositis, but it means if he wants any hope of taking this championship battle to the final round of the season, he has to gain 10 spots in 46 laps at a track where overtaking is notoriously hard. Absolute drama here at the opening of the DAC Hungarian Grand Prix, already making up places around the outside. Into the top 10, he gets Rositis' P8, but those tyres are going to be cooked. It's absolute chaos. Penn now leads the race. At the end of that one, on ball with him, Ranchek. There is Anthony Penn, our race leader. Case Willems now in P2, maybe having a look into turn 1. Yes, he is having a look into turn 1. The Sabaton train will be well and truly on now because Case Willems can smell blood. He's in P2 and he's got a very quick race car underneath him. Kamashov behind as well, only a second away. Oh, and that's Penn running very wide through turn 2. And oh, it is absolute chaos here. And Penn going very defensive on the run up to turn 4. Willems having a look. That is not a place you overtake. Oh, and that is Penn running very wide as well. Into turn 5 they go. Willems, lots of understeer on the entry to the corner. Just getting a little bit of that dirty air. Kamashov always gaining while this is happening. And Penn is just missing apex, missing corners left, right, and center. He's running wide at the exit of the... Oh, my goodness me. I can barely keep track of what's going. It's lap 2 of 46, and I'm already losing my voice here. Coming into the middle sector they go. Do the right-hander. My goodness me, that is the worst possible start to a race that Giovanni Morum could have hoped for. As it stands, Agnes Rositis will be champion. However, it will enable Bag Motorsport to gain their lead in the Constructors' Championship ever so slightly. And Machado and Morum swap. Oh no, Machado and Morum's touched again! I don't believe it! They've come together again! Oh my goodness, this is the second time in 3 laps that the man who was fighting for a championship and Bernardo Machado have come together. And this is going to be one extremely angry Giovanni Morum now. And he's going to possibly make some very rash moves. Those tyres are going to be warmer than a hot summer's day. And it already is a hot summer's day here at the Hungaroring. Oh my goodness me, Alex, this is just chaos at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely disaster for Morum. Obviously, Rositis, not good for him either, but P8, that's enough for the championship. Up front, Penn is really under pressure from Willems here, but he's not been able to get past. Dirty air is just terrible through the second sector, as can clearly be seen here, just dropping back.
Yeah, it seems like Willems just has all that pace advantage through Sector 1 and is just losing it all again in Sector 2. Whenever he catches up to the back of Penn, Kamashov is gaining as well, and Morum stuck behind Imran Sheikh at the moment. He needs to get a move on now. Rositis is P8 and not going anywhere. He needs to overtake. He has got to win this race. If he does not win this race, then the championship does not go to the final round. It is as simple as that. There is the man who, as it stands, will be Challenger Split champion, Agnes Rositis, in P8. It's I'm sure this is not the way how he wanted to win the championship, but all he needs to do is just finish where he is and carrying on his way around. But he's currently going for a move on Stephen Hepner, and it's a very easy move on Stephen Hepner because it's done even before turn 1. with the DRS, with the slipstream. Round he goes, and Amorim is into the pit. So Amorim boxes early. I think he's going to try and go as long as he possibly can. Let's see what tyres he goes onto here. And he's getting he's getting damage repair as well. He's in the pits for a long time, and this is desperation from Giovanni Amorim. I think he'll be going, yep, he's onto the C1, the hardest compound tyre. This is just a desperate stop from Giovanni Amorim. It's repairs. It is onto the hardest tyre. He should be able to make it to the end of the race on those. And it is just desperately trying to claw back what he can. And once again, it is just a nightmare weekend for Bag Motorsport. They were at Suzuka, and they could have walked away with the Constructors' Championship. And they were well in the battle for the Drivers' Championship, and now it looks like, as it stands, they will lose the Drivers' Championship. And although they will currently walk away with a slight lead increase in the Constructors, it's not what they want. Anthony Penn sets the fastest lap of the race as a 1:18.445. Not bad on lap 5, and that lap time will tumble, especially after the first round of pit stops. There is Ollie Gibson trying to have a look on Dmitry Kamashov, who's massively dropped back from Case Willems over the last few laps. Maybe have made a mistake that we just haven't caught on camera. And some very nice camera angles here at the Hungarian, must be said. That actually looks very realistic. That's Bernardo Machado on Imran Sheikh, trying to get past the Concord Racing driver. 2 high-profile incidents in 3 laps. And I'm sure that he'll be willing to try and make up some ground. Or another incident that's very brave up there. He's going to turn 3 in Imran Sheikh. Bill almost into the barrier. Wow, all 4 wheels locked up. Great save from Imran Sheikh. Those tyres are going to be like a box now. But at least he's not out of the race, so I'll give him that. And as I was saying, Bernardo Machado is going to have one very unhappy Giovanni Amorim speaking to after the race. Agnes Rositis was actually caught up in that incident. He was the one who Machado actually slid into the back of at first, and then Rositis set off the kind of the domino effect and just kind of went straight into the back of Amorim. But Rositis got off a lot better. Amorim just went completely sideways. Resistance looks like he was able to keep it pointed in a vaguely straight line. Looking like there's an overtake. Gibson having a look around the outside of Kamashov. Resistance as well, having a look at Buzz Duggar. And Gibson possessing a lot of pace at this stage in the race. He's definitely quicker than Kamashov. He's just dropping lap time. He's now 2.5 seconds behind Case Willems in P2. That is a long time to drop in literally 1 lap. Willems as well. Within, and that's Imran Sheikh into the pits as well. And he'll be coming in for damage repairs. Oh, and that's Imran Sheikh out of the race. Our first retirement of the day. Imran Sheikh retires from the DAC Hungarian Grand Prix on lap 6. Shame to see him go. But, you know, that is how sim racing works sometimes. Sometimes it's just not your day. Sometimes you have too much damage to continue. And Giovanni Amorim sets the fastest lap of the race on the hardest compound. Now, granted, it is the freshest compounded tyre out there, but to set the fastest lap of the race, well, that says a lot. It either says that the harder compounds are going to be the ones you need to get on because they're faster, or that he's driving like a man absolutely possessed, which is probably more likely, or both. And you can see here, he is just absolutely on the limit right now. He is, yeah, he's driving angry, you can tell. As long as he's not overdriving it, he's going to be very, very quick.
Obviously a bit of a disaster for him for the start of the race, but he's got a nice clear track in front of him for what's going to probably be almost 20 laps now, I would say. So, yeah, definitely get some time to claw that gap back, especially with his current pace. I've just heard from the race director, actually, that Case seems to have a 3-second DRS penalty for illegally using it. So that's 3 seconds onto his time already. And it looks like he's dropped back from Penn, so I don't know if there was a mistake there.
Yeah, potentially. So Case Willems with a penalty there. So that's not exactly what he wanted to hear as he fights for this win. Gibson still all over the back of Kamashov again. Just suffering from the same fate as we saw Willems on Penn early. He's just catching Kamashov in the worst places. In that second and third sector where downforce is so crucial and just suffering through the dirty air. Suffering through that lack of pace in the GA motor racing car. As they head round, you can just see they're losing 2 tenths already. There is Agnes Brasitis, our championship leader. He's very happy just doing his own thing at the moment. I suspect he's got quite a bit of damage as well, but He's not coming in. He's just kind of just doing his own thing, not stressing about it. On those C4 tyres as well, which you know he's very good on tyres. We know he can make them go a long way. But this is a man who can also make tyres go a long way. Oliver Gibson. Kamashov goes very defensive to the inside. Gibson to the outside. We're going to pull the switch back off. He gets the traction. No, looks like Kamashov is going to hold on once again. And Gibson can just do nothing. You know, Kamashov's just turning himself into a moving roadblock. But as I say that, the door opens on the inside. But Gibson, once again, not possessing the momentum to swing round. And Kamashov maintains that third position for the time being. And he's just fallen outside the 3-second gap as it stands. So if they finish as they are, Willems will finish in P2 with that penalty. As well as Rositis winning the title. And Ollie Gibson just stuck at the moment. Unable to do anything, such as the case with many a driver's fate here at the Hungary. Once you are stuck behind another car, that is it. It's often very, very hard to get past. This is a very nice rearward camera, rear T-cam from Serban Buzdugger, a new driver to the championship today. So I'm not too familiar with his racecraft or how he goes. Also not familiar with what team he's racing with, so I'll let you know which one it is as I just check the Premier Register list. And, and there is an overtake happening. Yep, Oliver Gibson down the inside of Dmitry Kamashov. Oh, not though, because Kamashov fights back on the corner exit. So unable to squeeze through. But that was definitely as close as Oliver Gibson has got so far. And unlucky there. Just maybe needs to get a bit more harsh, a bit more rude on Kamashov and just hang him out to dry. Just almost straight line it through T1 if he gets the inside line. And looks like as well, Buzdugger as well. It looks like he's either racing independently or is a reserve driver for an unspecified team. Because he's in that Trout, homemade Trout livery, which I believe is made by one Connor Peltmans of the Masters Split. It's a very nice livery, must be said. Looks like a fish here in the Fish League. On board with the Amorim, who you would not expect to be leading the Bag Motorsports fight tonight. But he now is Bruno. Typically the slower of the two brothers, but tonight he's definitely leading the bag charge. Rositis having a look on Buzdugger, sticking a nose, but can't make it stick. Number 17 TCU esports driver, again possessing a lot of pace on those C4 tyres, but just unable to make anything happen. And Willems has got past. Willems has got past Penn. Penn's made a mistake. Penn was 3 seconds slower on that lap. So Willems inherits the lead. He's got a 1.5 second lead. So Penn has gone off somewhere. Gibson now alongside Kamashov as well. Gibson, will he get through? Kamashov to the inside. Gibson with the momentum on the outside. If he can hold it, will have the inside line for turn 3. Gibson finally gets through Kamashov. But the Russian driver isn't going to give up that easily. He looks to the outside into turn 4. No, he finally... Oh, no! Gibson goes round! Huge accident for Ollie Gibson. Kamashov gets past, Amorim gets past, Rositis Buzdugger get past. Gibson will have a lot of damage to his front end as Giovanni Amorim sets another fastest lap of the race. So more drama here at the Hungary ring. Bruno Amorim up to P4, Kamashov retakes that P3. Wasn't sure if there was contact there. But yeah, so Penn has gone round. Penn's losing a lot of time, so I think Penn's cooked his tyres as well as he's gone round. Because as it stands, lose any more time and Willems will be safe in P3. Absolute chaos here. And, that's Bruno Mom just went off as well. I was just looking at the chat and Bruno Mom has just gone off the road as well while I was looking away from the broadcast. So that's Rositis back past Bruno Mom as well. So Giovanni Amorum's day goes from bad to worse as Rositis gets through. And that will mean that TC Esports will actually now lead the Constructors' Championship heading into the final round as well.
I don't know if you caught that, but I think Buzdugger, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sorry, just drove through the pit lane without changing tyres.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken.
No.
He's on C3s and he started on those tyres.
Maybe he made a mistake and kind of slid into the pit lane by accident?
It can definitely happen. Quite unusual.
It can indeed. That's, well, you don't see that every day, especially nowadays where a pit speed limit exists in all variation of motorsports ever. Penn has caught right up to the back of Wilhelms. As we are speaking, he's now within a second, so Wilhelms has made another mistake somewhere. Resitis as well is all over the back of Kamashov. So Resitis quickly making up that ground where he left off, but he is on those C4 tyres. So as we head into the penultimate corner, so he will have to come into the pits a lot earlier. There it is, that's Hebner and Machado again! That's Bernardo Machado's third incident of the night! I cannot believe what I'm seeing! My goodness me, Bernardo Machado takes the Maldonado Award for the night. And now he's got Steven Hepner on his angry list as well. And Hepner comes into the pits, presumably for a very quick pit stop and damage repair. Very smart move from Mr. Hepner. And there is Anthony Penn, almost within half a second of Case Wilhelms to P1. Resitis is within half a second of Kamashov. He is flying at the moment. He is absolutely... Oh, and you can just see how much he's gaining. And this is why he's leading the championship. And this is why, as it stands, he will be champion of the Challenger Split. He has just got so much pace. And, I will be surprised.
Sorry. It's actually really impressive to see how, as Kamashov in front goes wide, it's really impressive to see how fast he's going on these C4s. They're now 12 laps old, and he's still keeping up with the cars in front. There'll be one, but the pace is clearly still there.
Yeah. So very interesting to see how quickly Agnes Rositis is going. I've just seen as well in the YouTube, Twitch chat even, apparently Buzdugger had a drive-through, which I'm not aware of being awarded in the middle of the races, but he's clearly felt that. Penn pits from P2, so this is the first of the front runners into the pits. That promotes Kamashov and Rositis onto the podium. Let's see what tyres he goes onto. Oh, he goes onto the C1s as well, so he's trying to make the end of this race on those tyres. That's very interesting. Wilhelms now does lead by 4 seconds. There is Bruno Amorim in the other Bag Motorsports car. And he will be, as he runs very wide out of turn 4, be desperate to overtake Agnes Rositis in front. Not just for pride, of course, but also for the Constructors' Championship. Because as it stands, Rositis, the points between TC Esports and Bag Motorsports heading into the final round of the season will be 1 point separating them in the Constructors, and who gets promoted to the Master Split at the end of this season. Obviously, whoever wins the Constructors Championship in the Challenger Split gets a promotion to the Master Split. So that'll be very, very close indeed. You can just see through there as well how much the dirt air forced Amorim wide. And Rositis is in. Okay. Here we go. Agnes Rositis finally pits from those C4 tyres. Let's see what he's going to go on to. That promotes Bruno Amorim onto the podium. And Gibson up to P4 after that incident earlier. I would suspect he'll be going on to the C1s, the championship leader. And as it stands, our champion into the pits. He's on the C2s. So, Rositis feels like he can take the C2s a long way. That's quite aggressive, but he's very, very good on the tyres. We know he is very good on the tyres. That's one of his strengths. So we'll have to see what he's able to do. Rositis does come up behind Anthony Penn. And Amorim possessing a lot of pace at the moment, much faster than Kamashov in P2 as it stands. And but you'll see here, through this middle sector, he's about to lose all of that which he's gained. With the dirty dynamics and Kamashov running wide. So that does allow Bruno Amorim to just get a bit of downforce to the inside line. That is one of the techniques you can use in high-speed corners when you're following another car. As Kamashov apparently gets into the lead as our timing screen breaks, apparently. And, yeah. Very confused by that one.
Yeah, that's definitely not right, so... Well, unless...
No,
it's definitely not right.
Yeah, it's definitely not right. Kamashov just coming to the pits as well. Apologies, our timing screen just having a bit of a moment there. Kamashov into the pits from P2. And Gibson with the DRS swings to the outside, has a look around the outside of Amorim. Can he sweep around the outside? I don't think he can. No, Amorim may have just left him out to dry. And we'll keep that P2 position for the time being. And Kamashov onto the C2 tires there as well. I saw Machado and Penn get past. Where's Rositis? Is Rositis going to get through? It's going to be super close. And it is going to be Rositis getting past. Maybe no. Oh, there's contact between the pair of them. But Duggar retires from the race. And it's going to be just Kamashov in taking that lead. So the undercut hasn't worked in this battle for Rositis. So Kamashov into P6 he goes. The Russian driver will now set his eyes ahead on Anthony Penn. As I was saying though, just before all that kicked off about Bruno, one of the techniques you can do in a single-seater is when you're following another car, either run slightly tighter to the corner or slightly wider, and basically stick one half of your front wing outside of their dirt chair. So one half of your front wing gets that downforce, and you can have more front end grip. That's the race leader into the pits. Case Willems, in he comes. What tires he going to go on? I presume the C2's for him as well. And yep, out he comes. That is Bruno Amorim inheriting the race lead. And it's not the Amorim you'd expect to see in the race lead, but it's an Amorim in the race lead nonetheless. There is Machado. No, it's Penn, apologies. Machado comes in behind. So Willems stays in front of Penn, crucially. The gap has closed, but he's still in front. So there you are. Ollie Gibson and Bruno Amorim, the only two still yet to pit. Rositis and Kamashov having a bit of a tiff here. Rositis poking his nose to the inside through turn 1, unable to make an appearance. Nobody has a look, and they touch wheels, coming through turn 3, and it's going to be Rositis taking P5. Great move there from Magnus Rositis. Bit of argy-bargy, but Kamashov isn't giving up too easily. He fights back. It's a phenomenal move from Dmitry Kamashov at a place where you cannot overtake, and he squeezes back inside. What a move from the Russian driver, Giovanni Amorim now. Having a look at his title rival. Can't get through. What a move from Dmitry Kamashov. That's one of the Challenger split moves of this season. I don't believe what I've just seen through there. Unbelievable. What an overtake. My goodness me. And that's Amorim running very on the back on as well. That is not a corner where you even think about having a look for an overtake, and Kamashov has just stuck his nose up the inside and gone, no thanks mate, I'll be taking that, and straight through. My goodness, what an overtake from Dmitry Kamashov. Wow, wow, wow. My goodness me. In the meanwhile, Penn has gained 2 tenths on Case Willems in that last lap. Gibson gains on Bruno Amorim in P1, but they're still to pit. Now, those two are taking their tyres quite a long way. Lap 17 out of 46 here at the DAC Hungarian Grand Prix, apologies. Oh, Dmitry Kamashov, take a bow. I'm still trying to comprehend what I've just witnessed. That, I mean, Alex, just take over me for a second. I need a minute, mate.
Really, really crazy move to even try it there. Obviously, Kamashov maybe isn't fighting for the title, so he's a little less to lose than Rositis, who might just be trying to take it a little easy. But yeah, you never see a move there, and it's put Amorim right on the back of the two. She needs to finish in first to even. I think it's first to even, keep the championship alive. But still, really, really impressive stuff, and he still got the position in front. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That is actually, as you said, there very clever thinking from Kamashov. He knows that Rositis is fighting for a championship here, and he is not. As Willems sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:17.793. He's consistently setting quick laps here. And before we carry on here, these are the two championship rivals, Giovanni Amorim to the outside of Rositis. Who's going to get the advantage? Amorim's on older, harder tyres. Rositis on the inside will maybe maintain the position, maybe not, because Amorim's sticking with it. No, Rositis retakes that position, and Amorim has to slot back inside, and Rositis goes defensive anyway, and Amorim still having a look. He is desperate to get through. This is a championship on the line, and it looks like Rositis is just going to hold it for the time being. As you said, though, Kamashov would have known that Rositis wasn't fighting for the championship, but it would likely back off if he tried an aggressive overtake. So not only was it the most incredible overtake I've seen all season in the Challenger split, but it's also very, very smart thinking from Dmitry Kamashov there. That was, yeah, that's definitely going on the highlight reel of the season, that's for sure. And that's getting my nomination for a challenge split best overtake. Oliver Gibson will be once again having a look on Bruno Amorim. He's a lot closer this time. He's a lot trying to sweep around the outside once again. Here goes Oliver Gibson. Oh, he's going to get it done around the outside, is he? Oh, yes, he has. Oliver Gibson, another spectacular overtake here in the Hungary. Oliver Gibson for the race lead around the outside of Bruno Amorim. And he's going to promptly shoot off into the distance. He does still need to box, as does Bruno Amorim. But, oh no, Rositis is round. Rositis is round. Amorim, so was there contact between the pair of them?
I don't see anything on the timing. It just looks like he dropped it on the exit on his own.
Well, Agnes Rositis goes round, so he's dropped out of that battle. He will still be champion as it stands. Amorim needs to win this race in order, and that's Giovanni Amorim. That is not Bruno Amorim, this guy, not his brother in P2. The only thing this benefits is the constructors. They will now have a distinct advantage in the constructors going into the final round. And, oh, that's a bit sideways from Bruno Amorim there as well. Will he dive into this? No! These two still out there, still lapping. Wow, they're going really, really long on these tyres. A lot longer than I would have predicted. It's impressive performance from these guys. And Amorim was 2 seconds slower on that lap than Ollie Gibson. So, yeah, it looks like Gibson's finally been released. Yes, these two really, really going. But, yeah, the only thing that the current positioning benefits the Amorims for is the constructors. Rositis will still be champion, but being drives champion does not matter because although, yeah, it makes you look cool and you probably will inevitably find your way into a master split drive, it doesn't guarantee you a master split drive. If there's not a seat available, although I'm sure someone will make a seat available for you because, you know, you're Challenger Split champion, it's not guaranteed. However, if you win the Challenger Split Constructors Championship, your team gets promoted. And obviously, the Amorims, the brothers who run Bag Motorsport, you know, they'll be driving there next season, and I'm sure they'd be loving to race in the Master Split next season. Sorry, Alex.
So I just want to say, it's really weird. I'm not quite sure what strategy Gibson and Amorim are doing here. They're taking these C3 tyres for a very long time, even though the cars behind them are only on the C2s. So unless they're trying to maybe go onto the softer tyres at the end of the race, I'm not quite sure. No, as Amorim goes into the pits now, so yeah.
Yeah, so that's Bruno Amorim in. And so Amorim comes into the pits, and I presume we'll probably be going on to this C2s to the end. But yeah, he's just run those tyres for a very, very long time. Gibson's still to pit as well. So Case Films will be in the net lead of this race. However, Penn, he does have a 3-second penalty. So as it stands, he will just win the race by 2 seconds, 0.2 of a second even. As Bruno Amorim comes out behind his brother in P6, so that's not bad at all, and crucially ahead of Rositis as well. So still good for the Constructors' Championship there, and he can act as a rear gunner as well, I'm sure, for his brother. Just hold Agnes behind for as long as he possibly can. And let his brother do the magic up front and hopefully get into the lead of this race so he can take this championship battle to the final round. But, you know, it's still a big ask. It's a long way to go in this race. It's a long way to go for Giovanni Amorim, and Agnes Rositis is gaining very quickly on Bruno. There is Giovanni Amorim in P5 at the moment as they head through into the final sector now.
I'm just maybe thinking, maybe at the start of the race they decided that one of them would go long, maybe to try back up Agnes if it was a more traditional race. Obviously the collision at the start of the race may have changed that, but they may have stuck to their original strategies. And it could work out in the long run here with Rositis 3/10 behind, but we saw how hard it is to pass. As Gibson finally pits, I imagine he's gone onto the C2 tyre as well.
Yeah, so Gibson into the pits, Giovanni Amorim having a look on Dmitry Kamashov, and he's going to slide to the inside of Dmitry Kamashov, but he will not have the traction on those old C1 tyres on board. He's having a look into... Wow, that would be a very aggressive move. He won't have the inside line, so he won't get it, but it was aggressive anyway, and he just needs to make the move, so I can understand why he's trying desperately. Big wobble there from Kamashov. Very nice save. But yeah, Giovanni really desperately needs to get a move on. 22 laps out of 46 1 lap before the halfway point of this race. And, you know, as we've said multiple times, in order for him to take this Drivers' Championship battle to the final race at Interlagos, he needs to win. If he does win this race and Resistis finishes where he does, then it will go to the final race. If he doesn't win this race, no matter what happens, Resistis is Drivers' Champion. If he wins this race and Resistis is in the top 4, Resistis is Drivers' Champion. So it is advantage Resistis at the moment, but Amorim is doing everything he can in his powers. And I'm sure he would love to take it to the final race as well. His home Grand Prix in Brazil. And he's having another go on Dmitry Kamashov now. The timing screen saying he's already passed him. That's a lie, because he's not, as you can clearly see on the screen. He's going to have another look into turn 2. Very aggressive defending from Kamashov. Amorim really sends it. There's contact between there. Giovanni Amorim goes round. It's the 3rd time this race he's gone round. He's kept it going, though. Gibson's come out in front of Bruno Amorim after his pit stop. So Giovanni's still in P4, but he's dropped 4 seconds on Kamashov on tyres he would probably be wanting to take to the end of the race. That is, again, not good for Giovanni Amorim. Bruno Amorim still acting as a rear gunner for his brother. Oliver Gibson as well, possessing a lot of pace on some very fresh rubber on lap 23 of 46 here at the Hungaroring. Oh dear, Giovanni Amorim, just, you know, desperation. And, you know, I understand why he's going for these moves, but it's time like these that you need to think with your head, not with your heart. You need to keep cool. You need to, you know, make the sensible decisions. And yes, you need to be aggressive for sure. But you don't just need to lunge, and that's what's happened there, unfortunately for him. I'm getting, you know, throwbacks to 2018 Sebastian Vettel at Suzuka at Austin in Formula 1 when he just made these desperate lunges for positions that he shouldn't have gone for, and he ended up spinning just from contact. And that's what's happened here. Agnes Rositis is very close to the back of Bruno Amorim here. This should be a very easy move. He pulls to the outside. He doesn't quite get the move done on the brakes, though. And he actually runs quite wide, so it will be Bruno Amorim holding that position for the time being, on board with Agnes Rositis now into turn 2. And it will be Bruno Amorim holding the position for the time being. Through turn 3, the right-hander, they're going up into turn 4. The scene of the overtake of the season so far. There is obviously still, well, a race and a half left to go in this championship, in the Challenger split. So we could be seeing some heroics at Interlagos. Obviously, the turn 1 and into the center S's at Interlagos is well, it's certainly a place for Majestics to be put on display for the best breakers in the business. Getting throwbacks to, I believe it was Fernando Alonso, was it, on Mark Webber and Felipe Massa in 2012. Well, it was Fast Food Championship. Fantastic double overtake there. Michael Schumacher on Kimi Raikkonen in the 2006 finale, in his final race, in his original stint in the sport, with a phenomenal comeback drive as well, from many argue, myself included, to be the greatest racing driver to ever walk the face of this earth. And Agnes Rositis today could be the greatest racing driver in the Challenger split, because he's once again going to the outside, but cannot get past Bruno Amorim, who's putting on a superb defensive job. He's got his nose to the inside, though, on the brakes late. Bruno Amorim's going to try and hold it around the outside, and he will have the inside line into the right-hander. Oh, no! It's a spectacular move by Agnes Rositis! Bruno Amorim's done everything he can, but he cannot make the move happen. Rositis squeezes by, around the outside, into P6 he goes. Great move from Agnes Rositis. Wow, fantastic stuff. And, again, as it stands, Challenger split champion, and he's got less than half a race, and, you know, he's just going to cruise round, frankly, to the end, and he will reap in all the glory. And that was a great move, and that was showing why he deserves to be champion, and now he's just got to actually get the result. And as I say, they actually completely misses that apex to that right-hander. But, yeah, Agnes Rositis is doing what he does best, and amazing us all with his talent, and just putting in a solid performance as normal. On to the start-finish straight he goes. As it stands, Case Willems will win this race, because that 3-second penalty he has will not apply Anthony Penn is too far back for that to come into account. Oliver Gibson on board with him, now chasing down Giovanni Amorim, who's actually not suffered as badly as I thought he would after the spin early on with Kamashov, who he touched. Kamashov got away very, very nicely from that, and they have actually gained up to the back of Kamashov a bit. He's taken off about 3 seconds. As I said earlier, Amorim just driving like a man possessed. He is so desperate for that win. I'm not even going to attempt to figure out how long he's got left to do to get that win, and how much time he's going to make up on some very old C1 hardest compound tires, that blue sidewall tire that he's running on. I have no idea what the tire manufacturer of this is. It's obviously not an official manufacturer, because the RSS cars are not officially licensed by Formula 1, so they cannot use any official references, even though they are based off of the 2020 Formula 1 regulations. And next season as well, presumably, we'll be using the next iteration of the RSS Formula Hybrid cars, the RSS Formula Hybrid 2021. And then, obviously, as the real-world F1 season finally moves onto the regs, which were promised this year, we're getting next year the new Aero regs, which we did run with last year, actually. We ran with the Formula Hybrid 20X, or whatever it's called. I cannot remember the name of it, which is based off of the concept art that we had for those cars. But we decided to come back to cars which are more akin to real life. And then I assume it'll be 2023 when we finally move on to the newer Formula 1 regulations. Giovanni Amorim very, very close to the back of Dmitry Kamashov now, within half a second. That is a track extending and a half, but we'll let it slide for the time being. Kamashov's just lost all pace. I don't know what's going on with him. He's just got nothing left in the bank. Look at him, he's just struggling. I don't know if Kamashov's having issues, or if he's maybe having an issue with his wheel as well. He could be having a hardware problem. He might be distracted. Someone might be talking to him maybe at home. Not too sure, but Kamashov is struggling. And while that's happened, Gibson has got right onto the back of Amorim as well. He's not going to have a go, but he's having a look to the inside. He's letting Amorim know that he is there as they head out onto the second straight. And I'm disappointed in these drivers, because clearly none of them have seen Nico Rosberg's in-depth YouTube track guide around here. Because it's like the one Nico Rosberg video I have watched on YouTube, and the one thing I remember from it is out of the first corner, you have to essentially straight line the exit of the first corner in order to get the best traction. And that's not me, that's the 2016 Formula 1 World Champion, so he does kind of know how to drive a racing car. He's also like 5th all-time on the win list, so, you know, he's certainly not bad. Still on board with Giovanni Amorim now. He's within half a second of Kamashov in front. Gibson is within half a second of him behind in this battle for P3. And just the wash out of that right-hander. So much understeer on those old tyres as well. Just really struggling. The Brazilian driver, desperate to squeeze on the podium. It would be a phenomenal drive. It has been a phenomenal drive, to be fair to him, to get as far as he did after that first corner pile-up. If you did miss that, there was a massive incident at the first corner on lap 1. It was Bernardo Machado, who's currently in P8, missed his braking point, slammed into the back of championship leader Agnes Rositis, who slammed into the back of Giovanni Amorim. Giovanni Amorim spun round and ended up last. And he's put on a majestic performance, basically stopped to like lap 3 or 4 onto those C1 tyres. It's a fantastic performance so far. We're unsure if those tyres are going to make the end, especially with the high degradation of this track and the warm track temperature. It is 31 degrees on track, 26 degrees ambient temperature. By Assetto Corsa standards, that is warm. So it's definitely going to take a toll on the tyres. Got to be gentle on them, and look how close they are again. And Alex, we've been seeing this issue over and over again in this race. Just drivers catching the cars in front in the wrong places. They're just so much quicker through the first sector. And then they're catching them in the second and third sections, just falling behind because of the dirty air. And he's actually going to get through, I think. So just as I say that, Amorim, very aggressive move to the inside at the penultimate turn. That is Amorim taking P3 from Kamashov. So Amorim decided to prove me wrong on exactly what I just said. Thanks, Giovanni. Do appreciate it. But,
sorry,
yeah,
let's turn my mic on then. Hello.
Yeah, but I guess the reverse of commentator's curse there. Ollie Gibson now as well, having a look to the outside of Kamashov. Ooh, very late on the brakes from both of them. Kamashov leaves him out to dry, slams the door, and Gibson not happy with that one, weaving in frustration. He thinks that was a bit dirty, but Kamashov runs very wide at the next turn. So Gibson not happy with that move. But as you were saying, Alex, before we got proven completely wrong by Morum, it's just very, very hard to overtake in those second and third sectors.
Yeah, definitely. Unless you have a big tyre advantage, just the dirty air, and obviously it's not as big as a problem in Assetto Corsa as in real life, but you can still see the drivers struggling. The first sector, the two DRS zones kind of close the cars in together, but then just a funnel almost, just one line through it, and then they just spread back out again. Obviously the reason we have DRS was Gibson gets a run on Kamashov again.
Yeah, he's having to go to the outside as well. Gibson, Kamashov, I think, actually slightly weaved to the outside, trying to pull him off. Gibson not able to pull it off, but he is so much quicker than Kamashov at the moment. Kamashov really struggling. And Giovanni Amorum, as it stands, has 15 laps to make up a lot of time. That's about 18 seconds. He has just set a personal best there. So that is good for him. Gibson to the outside of Kamashov. And Kamashov almost cut in the corner there. Gibson with a majestic switchback. He will get the DRS as well. And he's going to get P4. But no, Kamashov to the inside. Will he try and shut the door at Gibson? Yes, he will. But Gibson will maintain the inside line. Kamashov still holds it on the outside, though. We'll have the inside line. And Kamashov somehow stays ahead of Oliver Gibson. He has been phenomenal today. Dmitry Kamashov, probably my driver of the day so far, has been a superb watch. He's just been pulling off ridiculous overtakes, ridiculous defending maneuvers. He's currently in P4. And it's great stuff. As I was just saying, Giovanni Amorum has got a really tall order against him, because again, he does need to win this race in order to take the championship to the final round. Although where he will currently finish will be a great help for the Constructors' Championship. So even if he doesn't take the drivers, he still goes to himself and his brothers and the team's home race and Interlagos with a big advantage in the Constructors. But he has about 12, 30, 40, 50... My 7, which equates to an A in old money, and GCSE maths really coming in handy there. 17 seconds to make up in 14 laps. That is Gibson to the outside of Kamashov once again. Kamashov and Gibson trying to use a lot of momentum, but it was a big slide on the exit of the corner, so he's not going to get anywhere close. Just too much throttle, not enough traction. And yeah, my 7 in GCSE maths really showing. To put it into context, from what I can tell, got the worst math score in my entire year, and I was bottom of the class definitely, and I'm in middle set. So my maths was somehow I still got an A. No idea how. I got 50% over both papers. I am an absolute maths genius, and to think that for until 3 or 4 years ago, I thought that I wanted to be an aerodynamicist. I have no idea what was going through my head. And but yeah, moving away from my failures as a school student, Gibson again having a look at Kamashov as they try, and Kamashov just hasn't got any pace in comparison to the GA Racing driver behind, but he is just defending so fierce. And actually an update as well, currently Willems will be massively securing himself in the Drivers' Championship and in the Constructors as well. Lioness Racing will be putting up a big resistance to Dimbop here. Gibson to the outside once again, late on the brakes again, sweeping around again. Oliver Gibson will be able to get it. Kamashov's there, but it is no. Gibson finally gets through into P4, and that's been 3 laps coming. Can Kamashov fight back? I don't think he can. Oliver Gibson finally into P4 after what has seemed like an absolute age, and despite Dmitry Kamashov's best efforts, Oliver Gibson on far fresher rubber finally gets through, and despite a stoic defense, he can just do simply nothing. But it has been a great drive from Dmitry Kamasov so far as well.
Yeah, I wasn't I wasn't so sure what Gibson was doing. He was kind of trying the same thing again and again, but clearly he'll try it enough times and eventually he'll get through. Already pulled a second gap to him, so Kamashov really struggling on those tyres, as you said. It dropped a second in a sector almost, so Maybe Resistance
Yeah.
could catch up to Kamishov now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he could. No idea what's going to happen. I mean, Resistance is been running pretty well this race, but then again, he doesn't need to take the risk for the drivers, but he would need to take the risk for the constructors, especially seeing how he's in a one-man fight at the moment, as Gibson says, I know personal best there, now that he is free from the dirty air of Kamishov. You know, so Resistance, I think his priority, to be honest, is the drivers right now, because, you know, that's the one he's going to walk away with. But then again, he also wants to perform well in the Constructors' Championship. So, who really knows, to be honest? It's all over the place at the moment. Oliver Gibson still following him around at the moment, and he is massively gaining on Giovanni Amore in front already. That gap has already come down by about a second since the move has been done. 12 laps remaining here at the Hungaroring for round 11 of the Formula Trout Premier Series Challenger Split. Out of 12, amazing how quickly this season's gone. Already into the penultimate round of the season. And it has been, well, it's been what a season indeed. From the opening chaos at Bahrain to that middle portion of races that were just unbelievable. You know, it all kind of kicked off at Algarve at Portimao with the most crazy results. We had I think it was Giovanni Amore in one. We had Luca Mengini getting second. Luca, another driver who wasn't able to make it here today, with a phenomenal drive. You know, it's just Dalla Valle came in third, I think, as well. And we had crazy races at Istanbul, Spa, Monza, Suzuka. It's just been phenomenal. Oh no! No way! That's Case Willems off the road from the race lead! Case Willems? Oh no, Mark, what's happened there? Case Willems has made a mistake and has spun out of the race lead, and now those tyres are really cooked. And he is struggling, and Anthony Penn is going to be... Oh my goodness me, Case. Those are baking hot, mate. Oh no, he's gone round again. Case Willems, oh no. And Giovanni Amore gets through. So Giovanni's Case gets that little bit better. Oh dear me, Case. What could have been an easy cruise to a race. Oh, he's gone round again. Oh, and Kamashov's through as well. And Resistance. And Willems. Oh no. And this is not only horrid for him on a personal level, because he's just about out of the race lead, but it's horrid from a championship point of view as well. That is awful for his drivers' hopes for P3 and awful for his constructors' hopes for P3. Oh no.
I'm just wondering if maybe when he spun, he tapped the rear wing on the wall and he's just damaged it, because just no rear. If you look slowly, he's having to go into the pit lane there.
Coming back into the pits immediately. I do wonder the same thing, actually. But we'll see how long he's held in the pits, because if he's in for a while, we know he's going to get some damage repair. Bruno Morum gets by as well. And Resistance in P5 as well. So Amorim, it's getting a bit tense, because Resistance is gaining on Kamishov. And Amorim is 13 seconds off of Penn with 10 laps to go. Currently Resistance is champion, because Amorim needs to win this race anyway to be even take this to the final round. But if Resistance finishes inside the top 4, no matter what Amorim does, he is champion. And that increases his points for the constructors as well. So Resistance now may be thinking, let's not take it easy. Maybe he's thinking, let's push for 4th. You know what? Just confirm it here today and get me more points for the constructors, so I've got a better chance when I head into the final round in Brazil. But yeah, absolute... Oh God, I can't help but feel for Case. That is such a horrible way to lose the lead of a race. He was up the front for so long, just driving so well, and it just shows how one little mistake can really undo a lot of hard work. And I'm sure he'll be frustrated with himself, as apparently Resistance goes to second. The timing board has definitely had a moment there. Anthony Penn, on his debut for Griffin Gaming Red, is on track to win this race. I have no idea how this has happened, but it's yeah, Anthony Penn is looking very, very comfortable indeed. He's driven very, very well. I'm just looking. I don't think he's scored a point in this championship yet. I'm looking at the graph I've been sent for the championship fight. Yeah, Anthony Penn hasn't even scored a point in this race championship yet. He's been on a few races, but he hasn't scored a point. Yeah, he's been in one race in the Challenger Split, didn't score a point, and now he's on track for a race win. All right, I'm always up for some fresh winners, but that is just crazy stuff. I mean, crazy is what we're all about here at Anthony Penn at Formula Trout. Anyway, crazy is kind of what we do. As we head around now, Ollie Gibson is all over the back of Giovanni Amorim, who I think is starting to run out of tyre, which is not what he would have wanted, because he needs to win to take this championship. And Ollie Gibson, if he gets past, will all put the nail in the coffin of Giovanni's hopes for that driver's crown. On lap 38 of 46 here at the DAC Hungarian Grand Prix in the Formula Trout Premier Series Challenger Split. And, well, it's been one crazy race so far. That's what the Challenger Split seems to do. Just provide crazy races. But, yeah, as we carry on flowing around, I'm just going to take a quick... Oh, and Resitis has just gone round. Yeah, Resitis has just done the whole chunk of time. Oh no, he's got past Kamishov even. So Resitis is now champion no matter what Amorim does. So Kamishov has gone round, I think. Apologies, I was just trying to look at the Twitch chat and see what was going on in there. While that's happened, Resitis has got past. So now no matter what Amorim does, Resitis is champion. Well, and yet Kamishov comes into the pit, so Kamishov must have spun round. Oh my goodness me. That is not what I think Resitis wanted to, or Amorim, apologies, wanted to see. So if they finish as they are, no matter what happens, Agnes Resitis is your Formula Trout Premier Series Challenger Split Drivers' Champion of 2021. That will be both Drivers' Championship wrapped up, as a Case then sets the fastest lap of the race. At least he's trying to do something, and he's got past Kamishov in the pits as well. So we will be at least getting something out this weekend, because Kamishov's spin means that Willems will still be scoring more points. Although it's not a race win, it will still be more points in the championship for both the drivers and the constructors. Yeah, if they finish that, that'll be the second of our two Drivers' Championship wrapped up, as we get a nice zoom in on a DAC Racing there. Thank you, Alex. We know they're sponsoring this race after all. Yeah, obviously, last time out, we had Max Hammerlink at Suzuka winning the Master Split Championship after what's been a dominant season. He needed 1 point to win the championship and then won the race, so that was pretty easy. And now we're seeing what could be the second of our two Drivers' Championships in the Premier Series on offer. The Challenger Split going to one Agnes Resitis today. And I'm not going to say it just yet, but if he does win this championship, well, Alex, it's well-deserved, isn't it? He's been so phenomenal all season long. He's got the most wins out of everybody. 4 wins to his name this season. 6 podiums, including those wins. He's taken and the last 4 races as well, he's been on the podium 4 consecutive races. He's been consistent, he's been quick, and although we had a bit of a rough start to the season, he opened with 7th at Bahrain and 13th in Austria. Since then, he's just been on the charge, and the only 2 races he wasn't on the podium was Portugal and Great Britain, in which he was 6th in both those races. So he's certainly been no slouch this season, and yeah. What do you reckon? I mean, from my opinion, he's been it will be well deserved if he wins this championship today.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I think Amorim's just... yeah, Bruno Amorim's just made a mistake, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's Bruno Amorim round. Coming into the final sector, Machado gets past. So Bernardo Machado going from a 0 to somewhat hero this race as he gets into P5 for Concord Racing. And that actually means they will really get a big jump on Dimbob and Lionese Racing as well in the constructors. So that could be something to watch out for. The battle for P3 in the constructors is getting a little bit spicy heading into the final round of Brazil. But sorry, you were saying about Agnes Resitis as Gibson closes in on Giovanni Amorim.
Yeah, obviously it's really, really impressive stuff from Magnus, especially this race. He showed it. You know, the pressure of the championship on the line, and he still managed to, you know, make important moves when it counts. Come back from almost last. I think it was P8 after lap 1. P4 where he needs to be. Guaranteed championship. Well deserved.
Yep, I'm going to be inclined to agree with you on that one. As we head on to lap 41 of 46. I know nobody's interested, but my family group chat has just absolutely popped off, unfortunately. I think England have just scored in the football, which is really annoying because I don't like English football, and it's 5 minutes in, and it's Harry Kane. That's made my night a lot worse. I don't know about you. Sorry about that. So yeah, sorry to any German fans out there and anybody who, like myself, just despises English football. Alex, I don't know if you like English football. Sorry if you do. I'm really not a fan. I support Scotland when it comes to the internationals myself. Back to the action though. Formula Trout. Football's irrelevant right now. Why would you watch that when you could watch the penultimate round of the Formula Trout Premier Series? Of course. The Euros are temporary. Formula Trout is forever. Ollie Gibson is all over the back of Giovanni Amorim at the moment. Half a second separates him. And Amorim, to be fair to him, has gained on Penn over the last few laps. But it's just not enough. And even if Penn makes a mistake and Amorim wins this race, Rositis, if he finishes in P4, will still take this championship. And apparently, according to Maxi Junger, it's actually possibly not sealed. That's the Constructors' Championship, I think. No, sorry, I'm having a look at what Maxi's saying in the chat. Yeah, he will be champion. Because it's yeah, it's 20. Even if he wins this race, it will be 26 points separating them. Yeah. So there is still time to bin it. Yeah, of course. Sorry, I'm just having a bit of a debate with Maxi in the chat. Maxi said he wouldn't be watching tonight because he's actually at the Le Mans Classic, but he's decided to watch for some reason. Maxi, what are you doing? Don't lie to me like this. You disappoint me so. Yeah, unfortunately, it is now 1-0 to England against Ukraine. That is not what we wanted to see. But, you know, I just really don't want England to win this tournament because I hate England fans and they're going to be so. Alex, I do. Do you follow football at all, or
no, not so much.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so I can just actively talk badly about England as Bruno gets past Case Willems there, I believe. Yeah, I can actively talk bad about England. We all know that England fans are absolutely insufferable. I'm not hiding my disdain, especially after the Germany game. I avoided the internet for a solid 2 days because it was I went in it for 5 minutes immediately after the game, and it is the worst thing that my eyes have ever laid their eyes on. Oh, Case Willems very close to the back of Bruno Amorim there, almost contact between the two, but just some great avoiding action from Case Willems there as we head through this sector. And this is a man who could have won this race. Unfortunately won't after that spin, but it'll if he gets past Amorim, he does have a 3-second penalty to his name, so he wanted to get 3 seconds on Amorim if he does get past. He just got fastest lap anyway, so he will get an extra point. And he's driven phenomenally well, as always, on his one-man show, because Jamie Elston wanted to watch a whole 10 minutes of football. You know, you could have missed 10 minutes. Or, like, it's Harry Kane, who really cares? He's just a big man with a lisp. Well, I'm really going to say that. I'm now actively talking Tottenham, and that's Willems to the outside. And trying to go around the outside and not able to do so. Yes, he is able to do so with the traction. Case Willems up to P6. He does have to make 3 seconds on Bruno Amorim if he wants to keep that P6. He does have a 3-second penalty for an illegal DRS usage. But that's still P6 on the road for the time being. As Penn starts the penultimate lap of the race. Sorry, I've gone on to talk about, like, just talk about how much I hate England and Harry Kane and Tottenham, to be honest. I don't even support Arsenal. I just don't like Tottenham. We'll carry on. Like, look, it's the last 2 laps of the race. Let's just focus. All right, Oliver Gibson still on the tail of Giovanni Amorim as they head into turn 2. It might be turn 3 on the track map. I've been calling it turn 2 all race. Oh, no, it is turn 2. I was right. Oh, brilliant. Oh, I kind of halfway through, I realised there's a bit of a curve down that middle straight that I thought might be turn 2, because I know at the Red Bull Ring, where F1 is this weekend, that pointless kind of kink in the straight down the back straight is considered a turn. But not here, apparently. Into the chicane, there you go. Try not to collapse at the inside curb, or you will do that, and run a wheel onto the grass, and that makes that next left-hander. In real life, it would be impossible, because you'd have dirt all over your tyres. In sim, it's not too bad. And on board there, we were briefly on board with Giovanni Amorim. And as we head into the final sector now, and onto what will be the final lap of this race for Anthony Penn, who has Machado out of the race. Oh, Bernardo Machado, DNS from the race. And he went from zero to kind of hero to zero again. Shame for him, but he's been involved in incidents left, right, and centre. And I'm sure that's a bit of justice for some people out on track. I'm sure that despite Giovanni Moore's best efforts to get himself back up to P2, I still think he's going to be a bit miffed with that first corner incident. Now, this man in the lead, one race in the Challenger split before this. And, Willems and Moore, no, they're not swapping places. That's just the timing screen having a moment. And it looks like that Willems does have 3 seconds, though, or just about. Yeah, as we just go on board with Gibson again, Anthony Penn has done one race in the Challenger split, did not score points, signed for Griffin Gaming Red, and is on track to win this race. We love a crazy story here at Formula Trout, and that's what we're getting, and apparently Gibson... Oh no, Giovanni Amorim spun! And just to make things worse, for Giovanni Amorim, he spins one... Oh no, he's slowed! He's letting Rositis... Now that is sportsmanship. Giovanni Amorim has slowed because he wants Rositis, I think, to finish on the podium. He knows Rositis is going to win the championship. And yep, he's led him through. Or no, I don't think... No, he can't be out of fuel, surely. No, he is. He's out of fuel. I don't believe it. Penn wins the race. Gibson comes on P2, but Agnes Rositis, if he cut to him now, the man who has been so strong all season is going to cross the line to win the Formula Trout Challenger Split Championship. And Agnes Rositis is your champion. Giovanni Amorim is out of fuel on the last lap of the race to add even more drama. Gibson is P2, and Rositis, your champion donuts. You can see how delighted he is. And there you are. The championship wraps up a race early. Agnes Rositis takes the Drivers' Championship here at the Hungaroring. Wow, that is fantastic for him as he blows both rear tyres. You can see just how happy he is about that. The man from Latvia, Case Willems, somehow comes up with P4 and does some donuts anyway. It's a strong performance from him. Kamashov will be P6. Bruno will be P5, so still will take some solid points. I think that Giovanni will be classed in 7th. So that means that he will, there will still be some good points for the constructors. However, as Anthony Penn comes into the pits from a great win, we're now going to have an interview with your Formula Trout Premier Series Challenger Split champion, Agnes Rositis. Agnes, are you there? And he's not there. All right, we'll move Agnes to the side for the moment. We'll get Case Willems in for the time being instead. Case, mate, it's 4th place. You know, it's still points. It's still good points for the championship as well because you beat your main rival in Dimbob and Kamashov. But what could have been? What did you just spin coming through turn 4 or?
Honestly, I don't know what happened. I can't remember the turn name, but it's that really fast left one. For some reason, I just lost the rear, and after that, the car was just honestly it wanted to kill me even more. Like I kept trying to be really careful, you know, trying to go to the pits, but I spun like 3 more times or something. It was bullshit. I was so angry, but like I honestly didn't imagine this recovery. I think Giovanni lost his fuel on the last lap.
Yeah, he did. He ran out of fuel.
Oh well,
Which was well, I thought at first he was letting Rositis get past to go for a podium so he could, because Rositis has now wrapped up the championship. I thought he was going to let them past so he could wrap up the championship on the podium. But no, he actually just ran out of fuel. So very bizarre. But yeah, very weird. I mean, but yeah, you led most of the race, so it's still a very, very strong performance. And obviously, more importantly, you now have increased your advantage in the drivers and the constructors championships over your main rivals in for the P3 fight. So that's not bad at all. What's your thoughts kind of going into Interlagos? Is it just fight to the last lap? Just kind of try and take P3 in the championship?
Basically, yeah. For this race, it was our goal to score at least, for the worst case scenario, if Dimitri and won the race and got fastest lap for these next two races, so Hungary and Brazil, we would need to score a minimum of 34 or more points. The goal was to have both Jamie and our new upcoming driver, Jack Coven, driving for us, but unfortunately, they were unable to drive. So it was all up to me again for this race, for pretty much of the rest of the season. But yeah, I was really happy. I was in the lead. I find this track, especially sector 2, really difficult. So I was kind of surprised that I was eventually in the lead. I think the strategy worked pretty good too. Two stopper, but then yeah, after the spun, everything was a bit crazy. But P4, great recovery. I still like that.
Yeah, so yeah, great result for you. Great drive. Obviously, could have been a win, but you know, sometimes these things happen. But yeah, great job out there. Thank you very much again for joining us, Case.
Yeah, no problem. Too bad I had to make you feel bad for me not winning though, despite being here this time.
Yeah, there was a sort of half a lap where I felt remorse. Okay, I'd say that much. Thank you,
Thanks.
Case. And yeah, great result out there. Thank you.
But yeah, thanks for commentating.
Again, no worries. Right now, we should hopefully get Agnes in. Agnes, can you hear us?
Yes, hello, do you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you indeed. Agnes, you are the Formula Trout Premier Series Challenger Split champion. Tell me, how does that feel?
Well, it feels good, but I, I definitely hoped for a little bit more boring race, let's say.
Well, yeah, it got off to an interesting start. I think we all kind of saw what happened there. And then it just carried on getting more and more interesting. You somehow got a podium. Giovanni Moore actually ran out of fuel at the end. So you managed to luck into a podium there. So at least you got to celebrate your championship on the podium. Yeah, just you know, what's your plan now heading into the final race in Interlagos? You've wrapped up the drivers' championship. Do you want the constructors' championship to go with that? I presume.
Well, that's the thing. I really had to get my championship today because I will not be there in the next round.
Oh, so Agnes Rositis won't be there. So either TC Esports, there you are, exclusive, need to either bring some more people with them, or it's going to be pretty interesting for so the constructors next round. So at least you've won the championship, and you can end on a bang. Just a question: what went through your mind at the start of the race? You know, you got taken out from behind. There's a big pile up. What was your like immediate reaction to that happening?
Well, my reaction was like, well, obviously. Yeah, because that's what it's something that always happens when you are racing on a really high stakes, you know. And when I saw just a guy behind me just yeets into my back, and I was like, okay, there goes my plan, like, because I was risking my strategy starting on C4 tires, which I think actually worked for me really well. Like, they held on really good, and I was pressuring Kamishov, but because of him, I actually pitted earlier than I would have liked. But yeah, and then I had that massive battle with Kamishov, which I think was a bit unnecessarily aggressive. Because yeah, really, my car was so damaged, like from all the sides, like front and back, and it was quite undrivable actually.
Well, yeah, well, it was certainly an intense race for you, but you're walking away as champion, so, you know, it could have been a lot worse. Thank you for joining us, Agnes, and again, congratulations, you're champion, mate.
Thank you, cheers.
Well, that was Agnes Rositis, and last but not least, we're going to draw in the most, well, I don't even know what to say. Anthony, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, somehow you've won that race. You've not scored a point in the Challenger Series before. You don't, and then you've just rocked up and won the race. How did that happen?
I don't know. I just you know, this is my second race, and you know, I knew I had pace, but I have to learn how to race with these guys. And after my first race, I had a lot to learn, and that's what I put in the last 2 weeks was just the race pace. Not so much qualifying this time, but keeping the car on the track, which I failed to do this race in the first few laps. I had a little spin, but yeah, I just after that spin, I decided to go on the C1s and just try to go the whole race, and it turned out to be a good idea. So
Yeah, well, it certainly paid off. I mean, you're now a race winner here at Formula Trout. I mean, one more round left in the season now. I presume you just want to win that one as well, I guess is your plan.
I'm gonna try right in 2 weeks. So I've actually never really drove on the next track, which is Interlagos, I believe.
Yeah, it is Interlagos, yeah.
Yeah, I have like no time on that, so I'm gonna have to really practice on that, figure that track out. But yeah, it was a fun race. It was yeah, just yeah, I don't even know what to say.
Well, you don't have to say anything else, man. That was a great performance out in the great one. Thank you for joining us, Anthony, and good job, mate.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good one.
Well, that marks the end of our Formula Trout Challenger Split race. I want to say thank you very much to Alex for once again streaming and co-commentating alongside me. Thank you very much, Alex.
No problem. Glad to be here.
And yeah, that was certainly a crazy, crazy race. And well, that's one championship wrapped up, and possibly two, depends what TC Esports decides to field in the next round. But make sure you stick around for the time being, because in just a short while we'll be going live